Welcome back, everybody. This is Zach with New Angle Sports Talk. Today we're going to be recapping Game 3, Rockets, Warriors. Big time game. I feel like I say this every single time I'm recapping a game right now. I was pumped after this game. This game was a fantastic game. You got to watch it for yourself, but my recap is it'll work for you for now, I guess. But as usual, guys, highlights are going to be on the video screen. Make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell notification so that you're in the loop on any new videos that I post out. I actually have a lot of videos coming out pretty soon. I did a lot of filming today on some draft-related videos about some prospects that you may not have heard of or you may not have really kept your eye on this year in NCAA. And you're definitely going to want to check those out because it might be somebody your team drafts. So just a heads up, guys. Without further ado, let's get started. All right, so three-point shooting was a big deal in the first quarter. Golden State went 2 of 11, and Houston went 1 of 8 from shooting. So neither team really did that well from shooting from the three-point land. There was lots of paint play, though, lots of points in the paint. Golden State had some wide-open shots, though, right in the rain, in the paint, layups, dunks, all that stuff. Main reason why is because KD was getting double-teamed just about every single time he touched the ball, it felt like. And a lot of times when he was touching the ball, it was in the mid-range or when he was posting up in the paint, and that just clears up. When you post up like that, he's so tall, anytime you cut anybody into the paint, you're probably going to get an easier layup, and that's tends to be what happened. Also, Draymond Green played a big role in that. When he catches the ball right in the middle of the paint, a lot of times their offense just cuts. That's just what they do. They either free up on the three-point line to get an open shot, an open three-pointer, or it's easy baskets in the lane. Now, first quarter, Steph had 8 points. Kevin Durant had 7. Eric Gordon had 7. CP3 and Clint Capella each had 6 points as well in the first quarter. Like I said, big time game for both teams. The Warriors only made one field goal within the last 4 minutes and 25 seconds in the quarter. So they went on this spell where they just couldn't make anything just about except for that one basket. Probably the game of the night, though, was Clint Capella's huge block on Andre Iguodala. You have to have seen this already by now. If you even looked at your Facebook the last 20 minutes ago, you would have seen it. There's about a minute left in the quarter. Iguodala goes up for a dunk attempt right over Capella, and Clint Capella was not having it. It was big time. Probably the best block so far in the postseason. There's been a couple good ones, like last night in the Denver and Portland Trailblazers game. There's a lot of good dunks on. I'm sorry, I meant blocks. And there's a lot of good blocks in that game. But that one by far was the best one so far. There was another big block by PJ Tucker right at the end of the quarter, the first quarter. PJ Tucker blocked the three-point attempt by Steph Curry, and that was basically the end of the quarter. But Houston did end up with 3 blocks in the first quarter. That was big time for them, playing big defense. You know, if you're giving up layups and dunks on the other end, you better not let them score on the other end. And 3 really crucial dunks came in the first quarter for them. Second quarter, Nene starts for Houston and gets a really quick and one layup or dunk attempt, whatever it was, I forget now. And he makes a free throw. So he came in, played really well, especially in that second quarter, got the whole team running and kind of keeping up where they left off. Because like I said, the Warriors didn't make a shot except for one for about 4.5 minutes almost. And Houston were able to kind of get back in the lead and that kind of thing and really play to their game as well too in the first quarter. That and one kind of sparked that again for them in the second quarter, the start of it. Now 3 started to fall for Houston. Golden State still only made one more 3, and that was by Kevin Durant. Like I said, they made 2 in the first quarter. They only made 1 in the second quarter, and that one came from Kevin Durant. It was a quarter and 3. There was a lot more free throws attempted in the second quarter by both teams. Golden State had shot 13 free throws, and Houston had shot 11 free throws. But for the most parts, the refs were really letting them play on both sides. I mean, there were more free throws attempts, but for the most part, like they were letting the ticky-tack stuff go by, and it was just a physical game. So those free throws, they were legitimate free throws. It wasn't that bad. But Eric Gordon got hot. He had 20 points in the first half, most points he's ever scored in a playoff half by him. And I don't think this is new to anybody else, but Eric Gordon is big time. Dude, Eric Gordon could lead his own team by himself. Like if you put him on the Suns, he's obviously the best player. Put him on the Wizards, I'd say he might be the best player, especially because of the fact that John Wall is out for the season. You put him on the Memphis Grizzlies, he's the best player on there since they don't have Marc Gasol anymore. You put him on, you put him on the Clippers, and back on the Clippers rather, and he has a big time role with that team as well. I don't think he's just a six man. He's a six man. I mean, he's more than just a six man in Houston, obviously, but that's been his career rap as a six man. But dude is a legitimate starter, and he plays his role. So props to him. Houston was doing great at trapping Curry. They're really able to kind of lock him down, and I believe up until the third quarter he was 1 of 8 from shooting threes. So he only made 1 out of 8. So it was really throwing him off his game because every time he tried to go over a screen or pick and roll or anything like that, they were really trapping him really, really effectively, because the key to a good trap is getting there as quick as you possibly can, because if you don't get there quick enough, he can see it coming, and then that, there's no point of you in trapping at that point. But the fact that they were able to get there quick and kind of select their spots when they wanted to trap him and stuff like that, it really paid off in my opinion. Golden State ended the quarter 49 points. Houston was at 58. So Houston was definitely in the lead at that point and kind of in control of the game at that point. Now, starting the third quarter, this is where it got really, really good. It was a great first half, but it was an even better second half. Kevin Durant came out, hit a 3, and then he came back and he gets fouled on a 3-point attempt, makes all 3 of them. But more importantly, that gave P.J. Tucker his 4th foul with 10:48 left in the second half. So he just starting in the third quarter, he already gets his 4th foul, and we'll kind of see how that plays out for him going on in the rest of the game. Austin Rivers came down right after that, came back into the game, right after the P.J. Tucker got that 4th foul, and he starts to guard Kevin Durant. Harden does answer with a big 3, but then KD gets fouled on a floater from Austin Rivers, and then he makes those 2 free throws as well. So he essentially went like 5 for 5 and 3 on free throws within like a minute and a half, basically, essentially. And Kevin Durant had made 8 straight points in that point if you count the free throws to start off the third quarter. So he was hot. And I'll tell you what his final numbers were in just a second as well, because it didn't end at that. 5:53 left. Kevin Durant does hurt his arm. What happens is he's going up. He's guarding Nene. Nene goes up for a layup or a dunk attempt, and Kevin Durant fouls him. Nene doesn't make the layup or whatever it was he was trying to get. But when Kevin Durant's arm came down, I believe it was his right arm. You can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I believe it was his right arm, and he came down and hit Nene's knee right after that, and he was kind of shaken up for a bit. He shoots his next shot right after that possession, and it didn't go in. So you kind of thought for a second maybe that kind of threw him off a little bit, because it wasn't just his arm; it was like right at his elbow, and obviously the elbow is pretty dang important to shoot a basketball. So, but it didn't end up being too big of a deal. He kind of shook it off after a few minutes after that. Draymond Green did end the third quarter with a triple-double. He had 18 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. His 18th point, so it was a 3-point make is what he made, and it was basically the last shot that they made in the third quarter. It was big time because it was kind of like a scramble at the last play in the third quarter. He hits the 3, and I think they said that was like his first 3 he's made in like 16 attempts or something like that. So it was a big time 3 for him as well too. But like I said, Houston's three-point attempts for themselves really picked up in the third quarter. They went 8 of 13 from the 3-point range, really crushed it, really played their game. And Eric Gordon, like I said, was a huge part of that. Chris Paul hit some threes. I don't think P.J. Tucker hit anything, but James Harden also hit some threes. I think Austin Rivers had 1. So they kind of spread it all out, but Eric Gordon was by far the best one tonight at on the 3-point range. Jumping into the fourth quarter now, guys, KD hits 4 straight shots to start the quarter, and then Houston has to call a timeout pretty quickly. So, again, he starts the same way he started quarter 3, just on a roll. That's what happens, especially with Kevin Durant. He's so dangerous coming into the next quarter, and he hits 4 straight ones real quick. P.J. Tucker does get a pretty big and 1 over Draymond Green. Right before that, P.J. Tucker had gotten 2 offensive rebounds by himself, and then put it up for a layup and gets an and 1 and makes the free throw. That was his first points in the entire game, came in the fourth quarter. And the reason why, I think, is just because he was focusing so much on defense, and they really needed him to kind of try to control Kevin Durant as much as they could. He did as best he could. We're going to tell you his final numbers in just a second, like I said. But big-time game by P.J. Tucker, and it's kind of what you expect now. He's a 3-and-D guy. He's fantastic at defense. Even though he's shorter than Kevin Durant, and maybe he's not as long and as tall as maybe Trevor Ariza was last year, he still has his role, and he still is fantastic at defense. Probably their best defender. I mean, I don't count Clint Capella because he's a center, and I mean, he's amazing at blocks and all this other stuff and boxing out. But as far as wings and guard defender, excuse me, I'm losing my train of thought now. He's definitely the best one so far. Austin Rivers did hit a big three with 5:04 left in the fourth quarter. Golden State has to call a timeout, and I'm just kind of recapping some of the big play sequences that I saw. Like I said, 2:45 left. Klay Thompson fouls Chris Paul. Houston now is in the bonus at that point. Chris Paul makes both free throws, and Houston's up by 1. And again, that's about 2:45 left in the game. Skipping down to about 46 seconds left in the fourth quarter, Iguodala had hit a huge corner three. Golden State goes up by 2. So Golden State's up by 2 with about 46 seconds left in the game in the fourth quarter at that point. Now, Steph Curry does reach in on Harden on the very next play, and Harden gets 2 foul shots, makes them both, and now they're tied. Kevin Durant misses an elbow jumper. Chris Paul drives on Klay Thompson, and that was about like 1.5 seconds left is whenever Chris Paul did that. Kevin Durant misses the game-winning elbow shot. I should change it to that way. Chris Paul gets the ball, though. He drives down the court, tries to go up on a layup with Klay Thompson, and Klay Thompson does a fantastic defensive play, gets the jump ball, 1.5 seconds left in the shot clock, or in the game clock, rather. Houston does win the tip, but by the time James Harden catches the rebound, it's already game's over at that point. So with that being said, it goes into overtime. So big-time overtime game. This is the second overtime playoff game so far. Of course, yesterday was the big-time one where it went to 4 overtimes with Denver and Portland. So if you didn't see that recap video, guys, that was a thriller. You need to go check that one out. It's on my channel. With about 2:57 left, Curry gets his 5th foul in overtime. 2:57 left in overtime number 1, and he gets his 5th foul. So you're kind of trying to see again how does that react with his play style, things like that. 2:22 left, so about 35 seconds left or so. KD does drive and gets a nice layup. Harden comes to help on the drive, and when he came down, he landed kind of awkwardly on his foot. I believe it was his right foot, and right after that, he starts to limp a little bit. So you don't want to see injuries. Like I said, that it seems like a lot of players have been getting injured the last couple games just because it's getting deeper in the playoffs and things like that. But it didn't seem to matter too much because Harden seemed to be fine the rest of the game. But kind of a scary moment from there. I was hoping Harden wouldn't have been injured, that kind of thing, and it sounds like he wasn't. About 2 minutes left. Chris Paul does find PJ Tucker for a layup. Houston goes up by 3. So about 2 minutes left. Houston's up by 3. Now, right after that, Curry blows a wide open layup, and then Harden misses a layup as well too. Klay Thompson gets the ball on the other court. He misses pretty much a wide open mid-range shot, I would say, for him. He pump fakes. The defender goes out of the play. He shoots it kind of from the mid-range on the baseline, essentially, and he misses it. Harden takes a step-back 3 on Iguodala when he gets the ball back, and boom, he makes it, up by 6. Houston goes up by 6, 49 seconds left. Big-time game, big-time basket. Now, that wasn't in, though. That wasn't all of it, though. Kevin Durant gets the ball. He comes down the court, shoots a 3-point attempt, but gets fouled by Austin Rivers, but makes all 3 free throws, down by 3 left. 26.1 seconds left. Harden gets a floater over Draymond Green. It goes up and goes down, obviously, up by 5. Curry has a wide open path to the lane. I don't know if he's going up for a layup. It looks like he's going up for a dunk. Totally got rim stuffed. Blew the layup. Game over, essentially, at that point. They choose not to foul, even though they're only down by 5. There's about 7 to 10 seconds left, if I remember correctly. They didn't foul. Essentially, from there, Houston runs out the clock. Houston takes this one, Game 3, 126 to 121 over the Golden State Warriors. Big-time game. This is a fun series. Even though the Golden State Warriors have had the first 2 games, it's never over until it's over. You know what I mean? So anything can happen. So, guys, with that being said, that's my Game 3 recap. Make sure you don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that bell notification so you get every single video, or you get a notification for every video that I pump out to you guys. And then lastly, make sure you leave a comment for me. Let me know what's going on. Let me know what you thought and your thoughts on the game war. As always, guys, we'll see you in the next one.